They reinstated guidance, but at a lower EPS than they had initiated at the beginning of the year. I think the market still looks a little bit soft to us. For sure, fuel prices are giving airlines a bit of a bolster on the bottom line. But I think what we heard today was on the demand side was more of the continuing story, and that is that premium is holding up really well, and Delta is going to do very well there because of their loyalty programs and such. Basic economy isn't. And if you look at Delta's, price paid per mile flown for customer, it was down in every single market that they served, or maybe flattish in Latin America, but all the rest of the market's down during the quarter. So to us, it looks like a market that still needs to have capacity come out. And some of it will in the second half. So.
The CEO pointed to progress in trade talks between the U.S. and other countries and the potential for some geopolitical conflicts to abate. I mean, the flying public really, I don't know, are they really thinking about this when they book a flight on Delta or any other airline?
Yeah, I mean, so when I think of that, I think that's going to largely benefit his international business. I don't know, Paul likes to pick on me because I get to Paris for Paris Air Show, every other summer. And when I was in Paris, it was teeming with Americans. So it didn't seem like, even with protests going on around, it didn't seem like demand was off for international travel, at least, anecdotally in some of the places I've been to. So I don't know. I mean, I think it takes a little bit of demand off, maybe a very little bit. But right now, I think the international traveler seems to be rolling right over top of that and going anyways.
George, how does an airline take capacity out of the system? Is that just going from like 10 flights between Newark and Miami a day to, I don't know, 7 or 8?
I mean, I think ultimately you got to park airplanes. I mean, it's a capital-intensive business. You don't want to buy those airplanes and not utilize them. You take your old stuff, you park it, you maybe retire it, sell it off. But what we're seeing as 3Q develops, and so we'll watch this closely to see what it does to demand, is we're seeing that the low-cost carriers, Spirit, Frontier, look like they're taking large portions out of their plan for 3Q. Now, it may not hold. They may add some of those routes back, some of those seats back, but we're seeing numbers down 20% in some of their capacity. On the full service side, United and Delta is still adding. United adding the most, I want to say 5-ish, 6-ish% when I looked earlier today. Delta adding 2-3-ish%, an economy that's not growing that fast. American looked kind of flat, meaning the economy's growing at rates, sub 2%. So it feels like the big full service are going to push through here and try to push through and continue to subsidize the front of the cabin, subsidize the back of the cabin, that basic economy with the front of the cabin strength. I feel like at some point they'll break that front of the cabin. I think that's sort of how the industry always works, but we'll see.
In none of these reports do I see anything mentioned about jet fuel prices. Should we be concerned about that?
Well, I mean, right now it's a tailwind, and if that reverses, could be a problem, right? But I mean, jet fuel prices are down because of slower global growth, right? I mean, I think the geopolitical backdrop doesn't help it, but it doesn't seem to have pushed prices up firmer. I think I saw today Saudis are talking potentially about reducing some of the capacity adds that are coming on. I don't know if that sounds strong enough yet, but if jet fuel turns, that would work against them. Because again, we've got an airline business. If you look at Delta, they added 3-ish% capacity or around there for this quarter, and revenues were flat, right? So they're adding capacity and revenues are flat. I generally don't like that kind of backdrop.
Business travel, Delta actually kind of called that out as perhaps corporate travel is quote unquote strengthening. Are you seeing that across the industry? And where's corporate travel versus pre-pandemic?
Yeah, so they're not telling us anymore, right? And usually you tell us when you're really excited about where it is. Look, I think the summer flying seasons are all about leisure. What I heard was that they were having weaker pricing power in sort of the off-peak demand times. And my read-through on that is that summer leisure traveler where they know they got you, right? All my friends call me, they go, hey, George, I hear airfares are down, but I'm trying to travel over July 4th week on vacation with the family, and I'm paying a crazy price. And I'm like, yeah, because you're going when everyone else in the world wants to go somewhere, right? So when I read off peak, I also think that's probably a little bit of business travel. And so I don't know that it's going swimmingly, and they're not giving us numbers. What I heard was kind of stabilized, but I didn't hear something that sounded like it was getting much better. And again, summer's about leisure.